welcome back to Automated SEO. Today in this video we will learn how to get the data from any API in Google Sheets for our programmatic SEO projects. In last video we have discussed how to get data set for any keywords using Google search and publicly available data. And today in this video we will learn how to get data from any API. As I have get a lot of messages on Facebook, Twitter, etc. on asking no code way to get the data from any API. So here is the video on that. I have also created a blog post on the same topic. You can read from here too. So let's get started by knowing what are the type of APIs. So basically there are 4 type of APIs. First is no API authentication. Second is API key in query string. Third is API key in header. Fourth one is auth2 API key authentication. So we'll learn every type of API with examples. So in this blog post I have given the example of REST countries API, but इसमें मज़ा नहीं आया, so I went to chatgpt and asked for more publicly available or no authentication APIs and found this one interesting, the dog API. So I just searched for it, the dog API, and found it, this one, the dog API. So we'll learn with this example to get all the data from this API in Google Sheet. So let's get started. So before using any API, you have to just go to its documentation and see what are the URLs. Let me tell you what are the components of the API. Every API comes with a URL, and this is the response example. When you hit this URL, this is the response which is in JSON format which the API would return. So I will tell you how to use this and how to use chatgpt to generate code for this and using Google Sheets. So let's first go to the documentation and see what type of data we can get. For example, you can see when we hit this API, it's returning ID with URL breeds example, and in menu there is the dog API basic filter by breed. Okay, it's saying this in URL, when you see this question mark, it means it's asking for a, a variable to pass with the URL. You can see here breed ID question mark breed ID is equal to breed ID. It means it's asking for breed ID in the URL, and this URL, it's plain, means it's not asking for any URL and it's directly returning the data. As you can see, we are able to see the data by directly hitting the API. In this API we are getting, okay, you can see the URL is the cat API, and in documentation of dog API they are saying just replace the cat.com with the dog API.com to get the dog data. So just replace and see. Yeah, now we are able to see the dogs data. Now let's go to chatgpt to generate code for it. So for it, here is the prompt I have used. I have given the API URL and the sample response from here. This is complete JSON array. I am able to see the JSON like this because, let me show you, when you directly open this URL you will see the data like this, but if you want it in beautify way like this, you have to use this JSON viewer Chrome extension. What it do is it just beautify the JSON format for you so that you can view it in easy way. So starting from this bracket, JSON starts, and this curly braces, these are the arrays within the array. So when you close it, you can see these are the arrays. So you have to give just one from this to this comma and give to the chatgpt for the sample, or to tell it what data this API return, so it can generate a code for you. So I have given this code sample to chatgpt and ask to create a Google App script code to get data in Google Sheet columns. And I mentioned that I just want name, lifespan, this one, and the origin in different columns for each. You can get the data for your use case, like you can get reference, image ID, origin, temperature, etc. too. But for example, I am just asking it to get just these 3 columns. I'll tell you later why. So it give the instruction, create a new Google Sheet, open script editor, write the script and paste this. Okay, let's copy this code, create a new Google Sheet. Name it docs data, go to extension, app script, and remove all code and paste the data. Name it dog APIs, rename and save. Now you have created a fetch dog data function which is calling this API and returning the data. And this function on open is creating a new dog API column here. I'll show you. Now close it and refresh your Google Sheet. You can see this new dog API column is created using that code. Now when you click on it and click on fetch dog data, it will ask for permission to run this code. You need to give the permission, advanced, and go to dog. It's safe because all the code is in your sheet only, so you can allow all the permissions because it's not giving your data to anyone. Now it's authenticated. Click on dog API again and fetch dog data. Now it will start running the script and you can see all the data is starting to coming here. Now you see why I have asked it to give the ID, because I have shown you it's asking for breed ID in URL. Like you can see, if I give it 1 to 1 or just 1, this URL is for cat API and you need to replace it with dog API. And now you see when you give the breed ID 1, it will give the breed ID 1 which is of this breed, that is this breed, and it's returning the image. Okay, now let's see for another breed. Like I know golden retriever and its ID is 121. Now when you give ID of golden retriever, you are getting the image of golden retriever. That's great. Now let's create another function to get the image of dog in another column. Well, we have got 264 breeds. Now you have to select all, copy and paste again. As you can see, it doesn't have origin for all of the breeds, so I am removing this column and creating a new column, image. Now in image column, I need to call this API again to get the data. So let's do it again. Go to chatgpt, now I'm writing the prompt. You can customize it accordingly, and you can also copy this prompt also, which is returning data as this. Here you can see it's just giving all the data in one array, so you have to give all the response to it so that it can understand. I want URL from here. I want to use it as formula to take input from row and response in there. It's creating Google Sheet function because I have earlier asked it for Google Sheet, but if you are starting from new chat, you have to mention it that I want it in Google Sheet. So let's see what it's doing. Is it created a new function get dog image URL and asking for breed ID and calling the API, returning the URL. Let's copy, go to app script again, and paste it. Now let's try it. This function name will be used as your formula. To use it, just put equal to formula bracket and give ID here. You can see it successfully fetched the image. Now let me explain you the code. By now you have got the two codes. One is to get all the data from API in complete columns of Google Sheet, and one is to create a formula which take input from your Google Sheet, call the API and return the data in same column. So I will copy all the data and provide you with in description. You can use this code as placeholder or sample code to create data for any other API too. So it's created fetch the image for first breed. Now to use it for all, just double click here and it will start fetching images for all of the breeds. See, you got the image of all of the breeds too. Now by now we have used two APIs in this Google Sheet. Why it's showing error? Request failed, return truncate response. You have it rate limit. Okay, we have it the rate limit. So remove this, copy formula and paste again. It will call again and you will get the data. Now you have got all of the data. You have to copy whole column and paste it again with Control Shift V in Windows and Command Shift V in your Mac, so that it will save as response. Otherwise it will always call the API again when you hit it, and when you export this CSV sheet to use in WPL import etc., it won't show the data, it will show the formula. So you have to copy and paste it as plain text. Okay, so by now we have used two examples, two type of APIs. First is no API authentication and second one is query string. Another example of query string API is pixabay API. So let's use it too. For more, you need to get the pixabay API, which will take you to the documentation page. You need to create your account here. I already have account. I am logging it with Google. Now as you can see, I have got my API key. So again, let's create another formula to get image from pixabay search. So this is search URL, API URL. This is pixabay API URL. And you can see it's asking for parameter as Q to search. Where is chatgpt? It needs Q variable to search for keyword. Create Google app script code to use it as formula to take keyword from sheet and input URL of image. You can put random image. Why? Because Pixabay by default return 10-20 images. So let's see. Give it all the response data. That's how it gives data. And tell it that I just want full HD URL or image URL or any image URL you want. So I will tell it to get the large image URL. I want large image URL. So let's see. It will create another Google Sheet code formula or function for you to use. So it created a get Pixabay image URL. Copy the code and paste it here. Now if you want to change, you can change the function name, like you can change it px, so the formula will be px only. Paste your Pixabay API key here, which you can get from Pixabay dashboard. Paste it here and save it. Px image equal to px and save it, and it have fetched the image from Pixabay, random image from Pixabay like this. If you hit it again, it will again fetch another random image. See, now we can also drag it to all of the breeds and it will fetch the image for all of the breeds from Pixabay. So you got two images, name, lifespan. It says error because okay, rate limit. See, you are hitting rate limits, that's why it's asking this. So better do it for small chunks like this, for 3 first, then 5, then 10. By this way you won't hit the rate limits. So I hope you understood what I am trying to do. I just fetched the image from Pixabay just for demonstration to use another API also. So now let's move to third API, that is API key in header. So the best example for this one is OpenAI API key. This one, that is of chatgpt. So let's create a function to get the data from OpenAI. Explore the API, get started. You have to create your account here and then you will get the API key. Let's go to docs. Models, ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo. These are the models. I'm just to use it, just let me show you. When you create your account, you will get this playground at platform.openai.com. I will use the chat API key and I will show you how to create the code for Google Apps Script. Like tell it you are here you have to give the system prompt, like I'm giving just you are a blogger, simple user, just test, because I don't want to use it here, I want to use it in Google Sheets. So I'm just putting the sample data here, random data here to get the code. Get the curl from here, copy it and go back to ChatGPT and ask it create a function formula to call OpenAI from Google Sheet, row, column, and get data. Now let's see what code it will give. Yeah, it's setting the headers, authentication, bearer, API key, asking your API key here. What you have to do to learn it more is just explore the code. You can ask chatgpt to explain the code, or you can easily just, when you practice, keep practicing, you will learn it more. When you use more API keys, more different APIs, you will keep learning. That's how I myself learned it, without going deep into the research part or theory part. I just went to Google and keep searching for my own solutions, and it keep giving me like that way. So I have to give it API key also, which you can get from settings. Sorry, API keys, create new API key, test.
One eternity later.
Finally, after trial and errors of the OpenAI bot verification, I got the API key. Yeah, so paste your API key here and save it. Now it created a function called OpenAI key. Now let's try it to create intro for our blog post. Call OpenAI key. Now let's try it without any prompt. B2. Let's see just if it's working or not. Yeah, it's working. Now let's create a proper prompt here. For creating prompt, I will use the Google's by default concatenation method that works like this: equal to double quotes and your string, like create a short to the point blog post introduction in 100 words. For blog post title, what title you want to give, like best shampoo for and your column. This is how you concatenate and create your prompt. Now just, what was the formula? Call OpenAI and give your prompt here. See, it created the formula, content from OpenAI key. So by now you have got the data from two APIs. First one is to get all the breeds, second one is to get the image. Third, we tried to get the image using Pixabay API also. You can use it if you want. And third one, we use the OpenAI API key to get the data, to get the content for our data set. So similarly, you can get all the data for all of the breeds, and by now you will have a complete data set ready using three type of APIs. And the last API in the example is for auth. It's a bit more complicated, and I didn't found any use case for programmatic SEO for this thing. These type of APIs basically are used by Google. Like when you use the APIs for Google Webmaster, Google Analytics, YouTube keys, etc., then only you have to use these type of API keys. But most of the APIs keys you found from Rapid API or any other platform, most of the APIs will use just these three type of authentication: no API, API key in query string, or API key in header. I will share all this source code with you to explore and use any type of in this example, in this sample code, you can use any type of API. First one, you can give it any name and it will create a function with that name. Just replace the API URL here, and here will go the append rows. These are the columns from the JSON. You can give it to the chatgpt, or if you have understood the code, you can write it by yourself also. And API in query string. This example is for API key in query strings. And at last, we have used OpenAI key. It created it created one function for call OpenAI key. You can name it chatgpt2 for easily remember. And before saving, let's copy and paste it so that it won't ruin the data. Save it. Now when you use it like this, equal to chatgpt, it will work with chatgpt. So you have to explore this code and try with different APIs found from. You can explore the rapid API to get the API examples from here and use with this code and create your own dataset using the APIs and create your own programmatic SEO websites. So that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something new today. Do let me know in comments. Thanks. Bye.